This is going to be a period which is going to bring you opportunities to find some income, wealth gain. Destiny is going to favor the brave. The harder you're going to work, the luckier you're going to get. I also see a possibility of you coming in contact with someone where you could find a romantic connection for yourself. This is the house of romance, and the Lord of ninth and 12th are forming connection with the Lord of 11th in your fifth house. Hi guys, welcome back to Devastrology. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the transitory movement of the planets, and we will understand that what does the month of February hold for us in terms of our relationships, finances, career, business prospects, your overall health and prosperity. So before we go to understand that what is going to be the impact of these planets, let's try and quickly look into the important dates which are going to define the movement of these planets into different signs and houses for you. Now, as you guys can see on the screen here, Sun is going to be in the sign of Capricorn until 10th of Feb, and from 11th, 12th of February, it will be moving into the sign of Aquarius. It will be in conjunction with Mercury, which is also sticking in this of Capricorn as of now, and will be moving into Aquarius on Jan 11th. However, Mercury will be making additional movement, and it will be getting conjunct with Rahu and Venus in the sign of Pisces from 27th of February. Important thing to note is that Venus is already in its sign of exaltation, and it has been in the sign of Pisces since Jan 27th, and it is going to be there for a duration of 110 days in this conjunction. It have very key impacts for all of us. Important thing to understand also is that this Venus is actually forming a Parivartan Yoga, an exchange with itself with Jupiter, because Venus sits in Pisces whilst Jupiter is placed in the sign of Taurus. Yes, it has been in retrograde motion, but Jupiter is going to become direct from February 4th. And in this progressive movement, you are going to see some transformative impact coming into your life. Movements will start happening in multiple areas of your life as we discuss further. Now, Mars is also sitting in its retrograde motion, and it has entered the sign of Gemini already, as I'd mentioned in my January readings. And you will find that Mars will also become direct or progressive from February 24th onwards. So both of your retrograde planets, which is Jupiter and Mars, they will become direct and progressive in the month of February itself. So it's an important event that's going to come into play. Saturn continues in the sign of Aquarius in Purv Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is ruled by Jupiter itself. And you have Rahu, which is in the sign of Pisces at this point in time. It is in conjunction with Venus in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, ruled by Saturn. And Ketu is in the sign of Virgo. It is in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra, which is again ruled by Sun. So these are some of the important dates that are going to come into play for the month of February. So Libras, as you guys can see on your screen here, your lung lord Venus itself is getting exalted in the 6th house, and it is going to be in conjunction with Rahu. Rahu and Ketu are in 6th axis for you, whilst this exalted Venus is forming a beautiful Parivartan Yoga with Jupiter, which is sitting in your 8th house. Venus also rules your 8th house itself. So it's an exchange between the 6th and the 8th lords, which means Parivartan Yoga, a double Parivartan Yoga is coming into play for you folks. Then you have Surya, Sun and Mercury sitting in your 4th house, giving an aspect to the 10th for the first 11-12 days. And then both of these planets will be transiting and forming a 3-planetary conjunction in your 5th house. Sun will continue to stay there for a while, but Mercury will be moving on to your 6th house in the last week of February and form a conjunction with Venus and Rahu itself. You have Mars, which has finally come out of debilitation and sitting in your 9th house currently in retrogression, and it will also become progressive through the course of the month. And last but not the least, you have presence of Ketu on the 12th. Now, if you understand the details of your Lagna Lord itself to begin with, it is coming into the 6,000 exaltation, which is definitive that any kind of health ailments, challenges with respect to loans and litigations, obstructions, obstacles that you've been facing, you will have the ability to overcome them, and not just overcome them, but overcome in style. The reason I say that is that this double Parivartan Yoga, which is coming into play, there has been this suddenness with Jupiter's transit being the sixth lord and present into your eighth house itself. But now Venus's present in exaltation is definitely going to give you that possibility that after facing those challenges, after facing those obstructions, you are going to find tremendous amount of gains. Now, of course, Venus's presence in the sixth house and exaltation also promises that there is a possibility for you to overcome any kind of competitive examinations, especially if you are a student watching this video. There are multiple positive things coming into play from that perspective. Venus is in exaltation with Rahu. It forms a strong Shatruhanta Yoga, which means if you are in a working job, if you are a student appearing for some kind of competitive examinations, or even if you are fighting battles in terms of loans, litigations, court cases, there is a possibility that you will find stupendous success with the presence of Venus in this house. But I would want to take a pivot for a minute towards students, especially watching this video, because Sun and Mercury are present in your fourth house. It is the house of knowledge as well. And then both of them will be transiting in conjunction with Saturn in your fifth house, which means that it can translate into you getting the right degrees, right admission into the colleges of your choice. They are all aspecting into your 11th house as well. And it's your 11th Lord coming into your fifth house. As a student, if your objective is to get into the right universities, to get into the right courses for yourself, and if there are any competitive examinations that you are embarking upon, there is a strong possibility of success coming your way for the next few weeks. Please do not drop the ball in terms of your hard work, in terms of the push that you need to provide, because you will taste success if your efforts are going in the right direction. But overall, for you, Libras, the best thing is no matter the kind of profession you are, running your own venture, employed somewhere, if you're a homemaker or any other persona for that matter, you will realize that you will be adding to your knowledge. Wealth of knowledge is going to increase. Your intent will be to improve your mental peace, satisfaction, and inclination in that direction as well. The other element that comes into play is that with Sun being the Lord of your 11th house coming into fourth, some of you could find success in terms of real estate investments. Gains and desires will get fulfilled if you want to accomplish something within your home. You want to add, do new construction, modify something, any kind of interior designing, look and feel, etc. Even acquiring new, immovable property could also materialize for you during this period itself. This is also a period where your destiny lord, ninth lord, and your 12th lord are also coming and sitting into your fourth house. So people who are looking forward to travel into faraway places, settle down into new regions, into new geographies, maybe even purchase a property if you are living in a foreign land, that probability can also come into fruition for you. So that is a positive play that is coming into, execution if done the right way. You will have to leverage your connections in foreign places and see that how you can pivot in terms of pursuing that, because Mercury and Sun are going to give you that promise and fulfill that promise for you, or at least that thought process is going to be triggered in your mind. The later half of the month, after 10 to 12 days, both of these planets will be forming a conjunction in the fifth house. Your intent will be to provide more and more support towards your kids, towards your children. Some sort of gain could materialize because of your children as well. That is also a possibility. Many of you might be envisaging to plan birth of kids or plan for childbirth in future, and this might be a good period for you to take actions in that direction as well. Libras, I also see a possibility of you coming in contact with someone where you could find a romantic connection for yourself. This is the house of romance, and the Lord of ninth and 12th are forming connection with the Lord of 11th in your fifth house. So very strong possibility that many of you could come in touch with somebody of a different caste, community, background, different culture. See, this is amplifying for you because in the same period, Rahu and Venus are also forming that connection, and Rahu brings that foreign element into play into our relationships, which is Venus, and that is your Lagna Lord. Thereby, that intent or that gravitational pull towards a romantic connection seems so very probable for you folks. Remember, all these three planets are going to be giving an aspect towards your 11th house as well. Yes, Saturn has been present there for you. It is a Yog Karaka planet. And you will realize that many of your objectives, many of your plans that you've put in place could come into play if you are connected, associated with a foreign country from different from your birthplace. And that is going to be elemental. That is going to be critical for you, Libras. Figure out how you can find gains through an import export connection, travel purposes. Doing long distance travels is going to be especially fruitful for you during this period. It is also a period where you are going to immerse yourself in terms of knowledge around spiritual means, around new levels of spirituality. You may want to learn new lessons because ninth and fifth connection will come into play for you in 2 to 3 weeks of time from today. As I move ahead, we see, Rahu and Venus's conjunction in your sixth house. As I was talking about this before, it is going to bring some sort of success for you in terms of new job opportunities. You might be probably take up a new job in a different region itself, maybe leave your current city, travel somewhere else, relocate in the next few weeks and get started because that possibility is being promised not just by Venus but a positive one with the presence of Rahu in conjunction and the planetary motion of the other two planets that I was discussing a couple of minutes back. The care is that do not get into unnecessary argumentative situations. I think that is one possibility that will be arising for you, Libras, is that there will be this drive, unexpected arrival of problems coming in your way, especially in the last part of February. So as long as you can take a pivot out of it and focus towards your end goals and objectives, you should be fine. Remember, Venus is not the planet that forms a Shatru Hantayo, but because it is your superhero, he is your Lagna Lord, he will make sure that he provides you enough strength and ammunition to fight and overcome those challenges as well. Challenges could come through unexpected means, unknown situations that you not planned for or imagined for, but you will have the strength to overcome those problems as well. Last but not the least, my emphasis would be towards you taking good care of your health. It is very important that you follow certain kind of regimen, good food habits, because that could be dicey. With Venus in exaltation, you could be enticed towards enjoying different kinds of rich cuisine, food, etc. for the next few days. But because this presence is in the sixth house, giving an aspect to the 12th, you might want to still take care of your health in general and make sure that you are not advancing towards unnecessary health expenses coming your way. Ketu is stationed in your 12th. Spiritual inclination, new learnings are going to be abound for you during this period. You have then Jupiter, which is the lord of your third house and your sixth house, sitting in your eighth. Again, interest towards occult, interest towards learning new principles, new ideology has already been a phenomenon for you. And it is going to continue and expand to the next level in the month of February. This Jupiter is giving an aspect to your 12th, to your second, and to your fourth house as well. You will finally find some mental peace as well during this period. Jupiter is going to help you do that. And this Parivartan Yoga is a fabulous thing coming into play for you because all the stress that you had encountered through the retrograde period could come to an end. You could find some kind of a solution towards that aspect too. This is going to be a period which is going to bring you opportunities to find some income, wealth gain. And I see more prominence of it coming in from your job aspects versus business prospects. Now, if you are a business person, self enterprise, self employed person watching this video, or from a marriage perspective, you would be interested towards what's happening from a seventh house perspective. Mars, which is a lord of your seventh house, is now placed in retrograde motion in the sign of Gemini in your ninth house, guys. This is such a relief for all of us with Mars coming out of debilitation and getting placed into the third. Yes, there will be challenges, there will be effort that you will have to put in towards your relationships, towards your business partnerships. There is going to be some additional hard work, some sort of travel that could come into play that might require you to accomplish the outcomes that you want to achieve. But it is going to be fruitful because Mars is now placed into the ninth house. It's a good placement for Mars to be in. Destiny is going to favor the brave. The harder you're going to work, the luckier you're going to get. That is going to be the mantra that you guys have to follow, Libras, because Mars is going to give you that energy to work hard. Yes, it can also bring tricky situations in terms of argumentative situations with your seniors, people at workplace, even your father for that matter. But I would advise you to just have, a pinch of sweet, any sugary stuff in your mouth before you get to workplace, before you get into situations where you anticipate you could have problems or you could face problems. Because for Mars, that's going to be an excellent remedy. And it is going to help you overcome that problem as well. This Mars is also giving an aspect to your 12th house, third house, and your fourth house. Please avoid unnecessary arguments coming in your family matters. There could be situations where you could lose temper, come out of control, but Jupiter is at least trying to make sure that you maintain peace, maintain decorum from a mental peace perspective. But Mars aspect into your third house definitely promises that you will have at least an intent to work harder. You will try to put in effort. Somewhere or the other, folks, Jupiter's placement 6 places away from its third house also tells that your efforts have not been going in the right direction. You've been bothered a lot, but now there could be a shift in that energy, and Mars is going to support you. As long as Jupiter is stuck in the eighth house, at least the exchange is giving us some benefits. You would have felt that you've not been able to utilize your energies in the right directions. But Mars is going to provide you that impetus. And thus, until Mars becomes debilitated again in the next few months, back in April in the sign of Cancer, you must utilize this period to make sure you are making full utilization of the same. We have discussed details with respect to your relationship, marriage, job, career, health, finances. Overall, is a mixed period. It is a period that gives you hope to do much better from what you had experienced in January. I hope you have enjoyed this reading. If you have, then please smash on that like button, subscribe to Devastrology, and keep watching. Om Namah Shivaya.